Ladies and gentlemen, my name is TotalBiscuit, and it is my distinct displeasure to tell you that it might not be a good idea to pick up Mortal Kombat X on PC. Yet. This is certainly not a condemnation of future patches. One hopes this will get resolved fairly quickly. However, this is yet another example of a game that should not be bought on day one, and there is a particular reason for that. Why is online blocked out, you might ask? Well, there's a few other things missing. Oh, all of it. Where's my game? Story, towers, testy look, not here. So, this all comes down to, supposedly, a system called Streaming Install, which is quite similar to the way that Blizzard does things with updates for World of Warcraft and StarCraft and the like, except it doesn't bloody work. So they decided to do it via Steam, and I installed the game and said, yeah, it's going to be a 20 gig download. Like, okay, I downloaded 60 gig yesterday from GTA 5, what could possibly go wrong? So I downloaded the thing and then decided to go into it, and everything was blocked off. The only thing I could do was one-player single fight with Katana, and that was it. There was nothing else available. Everything else was blocked out. So I exited the game and then discovered under DLC there were 30 install packs, which took an additional hour or so to all install, and it didn't install them all at one point. It actually missed a bunch of them. So I went back in and found, oh yeah, there's a bit more content here, but it's still not working properly. It's missing story, and online, the two biggest features of the entire bloody game. So finally, I was able to get it to install absolutely everything, and it still doesn't work. I've tried verifying game cache, I've tried restarting Steam. The usual suspects for getting something like this to work, nothing will. So it's busted. Even if I go into single fight, you'll notice that I'm missing some characters. Where are Scorpion and Sub-Zero, you might ask? Where is whoever the bloody hell this is? I have no idea who that is. He's a new guy. Where's Goro? Oh yes, he's pre-order DLC. Enjoy the fact that one of the most iconic characters in the series is locked behind a pre-order paywall, and anyone that pre-ordered it probably ran into this exact same problem. Indeed, the forums are absolutely full of people complaining about this issue, as well as people saying, oh well, mine is working fine. Essentially, it's completely inconsistent. For some people, it works fine. For others, it bloody well does not. As you can probably see. So I can play single fight and I can do some of the tutorial. Not all of it, because some of that's grayed out as well. At least we seem to have all the arenas, so that's nice. And you can sort of kind of fight, admittedly enjoy the 30 frames per second that you get during all the intros, the x-rays and the fatalities, whereas the gameplay runs at 60, which is a massive... You can and you will. What's the term that I'm looking for? It's very inconsistent and very jarring, I think is probably the best word to describe it. It's exceedingly jarring and very, very noticeable. It's like, this is running at 60 and it runs absolutely fine, it looks pretty damn good, I've got no real complaints about that, and then as soon as you go into an x-ray, a fatality, or an intro, or anything like that, right back to 30 you go, and anyone can notice that, and I will not accept anyone claiming, oh, what's the difference? Yeah, it's purely visual, we get that, but it's such a jarring comparison. You can very easily tell. I'll see if I can actually pull off an x-ray. I can't remember what the bloody well key combination is for it, actually, so probably not. Oh, that was a breaker, but never mind. It's not like the game doesn't look good and it doesn't run well, but the problem is, for a lot of people, it's missing the vast majority of features that people actually care about. And they're using some ridiculous experimental system, which clearly doesn't actually work. I'm also not entirely sure why my character is freezing up at random, either. I don't know what the hell's going on with that. Yes, quite. Well, that's the problem with Mortal Kombat 10 at the moment. It is not worth picking up on launch until they fix this stuff. Loads of stuff is missing. I can't even access the credits, for God's sake. Look at it. The credits are locked out of all bloody things. And that's not to mention all the other nonsense. Now, thankfully, the port seems, for the most part, fine. I haven't had a chance to check out the online mode because it's grayed out, but under wireless control, you might think, oh, well, there's no key rebinding. There actually is. As soon as you unplug your wireless controller, you select that option, it will let you rebind actual keyboard keys, and yes, you can play Mortal Kombat just fine with a keyboard. A lot of people do. So that works fine. Under PC video, you've got some options. There are things missing here, like another form of anti-aliasing, which isn't fast approximate. A lot of people don't like FXAA because it makes things blurry. And yes, of course, it doesn't hog too much performance, but it doesn't look that great either, so another one would have been kind of nice there. You do have your full screen windowed mode, which is always nice to have. Actually, you don't have your full screen window mode at all. You've got full screen and window, but not borderless window. And anisotropic filtering goes all the way up to 16, I guess. Yeah, so you might as well have that there. And under advanced settings, you've got bloom, depth of field, motion blur, and ambient occlusion, as well as particle density settings. Now, there is a configuration menu outside of the game, which may have more settings, but I couldn't tell you because it doesn't bloody load. Every time I try to verify the game cache and then run the game, it says the app is already running, which is a complete lie. I checked that. It wasn't in the task manager anywhere. So again, I don't know what the hell's going on with that. It's fine, no, the options do seem to be there for the most part, but half the game is missing. So some people, it's running just fine. For other people, it's not. And then, of course, we have the fact that Goro was locked behind a pre-order paywall, and we have some other people complaining that you can actually unlock tokens for easy fatalities by paying money. Now, I don't really care too much about that, but the argument that they made perhaps crypt progression longer to encourage people to buy those microtransactions is a possibility. I'm not going to discount that. I haven't played enough of the game to properly make that assessment. All I know is I went into the crypt, got 4,000 coins immediately, and then unlocked a token for an easy fatality. But of course, fatalities have no in-game effect whatsoever. They're merely cosmetic. You've got to have won the fight to activate it in the first place. So it's not like you really gain anything from that. But the Goro thing being behind a paywall is just ridiculous. I mean, I've been complaining about that since they first announced it. It's absurd, and I'm sorry to those that pre-ordered wanting Goro and ended up with a game that didn't properly work for them on day one, and there's plenty of people that it doesn't work for. If you check the reviews, if you check the community hub, you will see that. So, for the moment, you should probably not be touching Mortal Kombat 10 until they fix all this stuff. Please do hold off on this, because if you run into a similar position that I'm in, you are getting a game which barely works, which is embarrassing, and I am sad to see that, certainly. I do love my fighting games, I do love my Mortal Kombat, and the PC port with its streaming install system seems to be completely buggered at the moment. My name's been TotalBiscuit, and just a little bit of a warning about the current state of Mortal Kombat 10. I'll see you next time.